What if I told you that a single idea, dreamt up in a quiet university library, would spark a secret war, a war funded by a massive international drug trade? It's an insane story, really. It's about how one professor's map didn't just describe the world, it ended up redrawing it in blood and, believe it or not, heroin. I know it sounds completely impossible, right? I mean, how on earth does a professor's theory jump from some dusty old textbook to the front lines of a secret drug war run by the CIA? Well, to get to the bottom of this, we've got to go back, way back, to a time when empires weren't just built with armies, but with something as simple as ink and paper. Okay, so picture this. It's the early 20th century. To the world's most powerful thinkers, the globe is basically a giant chessboard, and they are absolutely convinced they found the ultimate winning move. They believed the key to total world domination wasn't just about having the biggest army. Nope, it was hidden right there in plain sight in the lines and shapes of the world map. So at the center of all this new thinking was this guy, Halford Mackinder. He looks at a map, points to this massive, kind of impenetrable heart of Eurasia, and he calls it the Heartland. For him, this wasn't just land. It was a giant, resource-rich fortress. And he made this huge declaration. Whoever controls this piece of land controls the entire world. Simple as that. But there was another professor, this time at Yale, named Nicholas Spykman. And he looks at the exact same map and sees a massive, fatal flaw in Mackinder's logic. He basically said, hey, a fortress is totally useless if you can't get all its treasures to the sea. He was convinced the real power wasn't in the middle of the land, but all around its edges. And just like that, Spykman basically flips the whole map on its head. He comes up with this rival theory that completely shifts the world's center of power away from that isolated heartland and onto the vibrant and way more strategic coastlines. So what's the big difference here? Well, think of it like this. Mackinder's Heartland theory was all about controlling a giant land-based fortress. But Spykman's Rimland theory, that was about controlling the global highway that surrounded the fortress. That critical strip of coastal land stretching all the way from Europe through the Middle East and over to Asia. So, why did Spykman think the Rimland was so much more important? It's pretty simple, actually. It had the people, it had a ton of resources, and crucially, it had access to all the major sea lanes. It was literally the gateway to the rest of the world, and he knew it was the exact spot where land power and sea power would eventually have to fight it out for total control. And this one single sentence he wrote, well, it would literally change the course of history. It was such a simple, powerful idea. Forget the landlocked center. If you control the coastlines, you control the destiny of the world. Okay, and this is where the story takes a turn and becomes terrifyingly real. Because this academic debate, it didn't just stay in the classroom. Oh no. It leaped right off the pages of a book and landed smack dab in the White House, becoming the actual blueprint for American foreign policy for the next half-century. You see, Spykman's Rimland theory basically gave birth to America's biggest Cold War strategy, containment. The whole idea was to build a kind of wall around the Soviet Union to stop it from expanding into all those vital coastal nations of the Rimland. Suddenly, every single move on the global stage was about controlling that crucial strip of land. And this is the absolute key to understanding everything that happened next. The wars in Korea, in Vietnam, all across the globe, they weren't just about fighting communism. Deep down, they were bloody, brutal battles for control over what one professor, years earlier, had decided was the most strategic real estate on the entire planet.
But you know, theories on maps are always clean and neat. The reality on the ground, it's anything but. And putting the Rimland theory into practice was about to unleash a secret, incredibly dark chapter of history, one with absolutely devastating consequences.
So deep in the jungles of Southeast Asia, the CIA is fighting this shadow war to control the Rimland. But here's the thing about secret wars. They need secret money. We're talking untraceable, completely off-the-books cash. And the source they found for their funding? Well, it came from one of the most unlikely and deadliest places imaginable. Heroin. That's right. The CIA dove headfirst into the Golden Triangle's booming opium trade. They literally partnered with drug lords and used the profits to pay for their anti-communist allies. They weren't just fighting a war, they were building a full-blown narco state to do it. And this operation was massive. I mean, opium was grown, processed, and trafficked by forces that were backed by the CIA. The agency even had its own airline called Air America, and it flew supplies to the drug lords. And what did they get in return? Soldiers and intelligence. It was this crazy, self-sustaining cycle of drugs, guns, and war. But the thing is, you can't contain the consequences of a secret war like this. The heroin didn't just stay over there to fund the fighting, it created a direct pipeline from the Golden Triangle straight to the streets of America, and it fueled a massive epidemic back home. And then, as President Nixon's war on drugs started making it harder to ship the stuff, the smugglers needed a new, foolproof way to get their product into the US. The method they came up with, it's so ghoulish, so completely unthinkable, it's honestly hard to even believe it's real. They used the bodies of fallen American soldiers. According to court testimony and official investigations, heroin was hidden in the coffins and sometimes even inside the bodies of soldiers being flown home from Vietnam for burial. It was the ultimate betrayal imaginable. And what happened when this horrific conspiracy was finally exposed? It got buried. Just like that. Evidence vanished. The main suspect? He walked away with a slap on the wrist for impersonating an officer. The people really behind it were never brought to justice. We're talking about a cover-up of absolutely epic proportions. I mean, just stop and think about that chain of events for a second. A professor's theory about a map leads to a secret war, which leads to a state-sponsored drug trade, which leads to heroin being smuggled home in the bodies of dead soldiers, which then fuels an epidemic on the streets of America. It's just unbelievable. And that is the true cost of these grand strategies. Those abstract lines on a professor's map became very real battle lines on the ground. And those battle lines, in turn, created a river of addiction that flowed all the way back home. So, it leaves us with a really unsettling question, doesn't it? When we draw lines on a map to try and control the world, who is it that really pays the price? Who are the forgotten casualties in this global game of chess? And the terrifying answer, it seems, is all of us.